Two All-Pros on the move, one starting quarterback to the bench, and one podcast host who predicted the future. It's November 6th, and this is Martin and Monaco. Now, Alex, I'll tell you, it's terrifying when a team does what you suggest they do. Because just 3 short weeks ago, I said if I was the New York Jets, I'd tell everybody, you got 2 weeks to make this team, and I'm putting everybody on the block. And sure enough, on Tuesday's trade deadline, you saw Sauce Gardner move to the Indianapolis Colts, Quinnen Williams move to the Dallas Cowboys, and Breece Hall not move, much to his chagrin, and his tweets weren't happy about it. But the reports were the Jets were open for business, and they sold quite a bit.
Yeah, it's interesting, Martin. I mean, our producer, Ian Roddy, of course, who I want to tap for this and get his fan thoughts. But really, they could have almost went a number of ways with the sale, right? I mean, you could have gone Breece Hall, Garrett Wilson, doubled down on defense with an AG defensive-minded coach and kept what Ian was alluding to as a top run stopper and arguably a top 5, top 3 corner in Sauce. So it's kind of fascinating that a team that obviously is whiffing this year, but really are they whiffing on offense as much as they are on defense? I mean, I kind of just want to throw it to Ian right now because this is just obviously a play for the future. But look, this is a smart look for a lot of patient people that look at the, I guess, chessboard of the draft and the offseason like, oh, let's really up our draft capital, which is what they clearly did.
Yeah, I mean, well, definitely first off, credit to Martin for sure, because he definitely did say weeks ago that if he were the Jets, he would trade Sauce Gardner, Quinnen Williams, everyone of value. So credit there, Martin. And yeah, I was pretty shocked when I saw the news because I did not expect Sauce Gardner to be traded. Quinnen Williams, maybe, that had been rumored for a little bit, but Sauce Gardner was completely out of the blue. Once I saw the return, though, I was pretty okay with it, more than okay with it, because to me, if you're turning down 2 first-round picks and a wide receiver who just 1 year ago was drafted in the 2nd round for Sauce Gardner, I think that's kind of malpractice if you turn that down, just because Sauce Gardner, he's a great corner. He's great in coverage. He's going to lock down your number 1 guy, but at the same time, he doesn't really create many turnovers. He's still got the thin frame, and obviously it's great in hindsight as a Jets fan to, talk down on Sauce Gardner. That's not what I'm trying to do. But the point is, that's a lot of value for someone. And, for a team that's still 1-7 with Sauce Gardner and with Quinnen Williams, it makes a lot of sense to get as much value as you can for him.
Here's what I will say, gentlemen, and I spoke on this as I hammered the Jets the week I told you they were going to win, was they have less of a point differential than the Bengals, who still had 3 wins and at that time were a 3-4 club when they played each other. At minus 53 here, obviously, again, at 1-7, you're out. I mean, mathematically, you might have a shot at 10-7. But is there any thought on just an overall human nature thought where this locker room is? I mean, I'm already trying to look at the board this week with the 2.5-point line hosting the Browns as which way to go. But do you think this locker room gets closer? I mean, I saw the Breece soundbite. Again, like you said, Martin, he was probably the guy that thought he was for sure going to go. And they let go of the defense. So do you think they lay an egg this weekend? Or do you think this actually is a locker room that got closer?
I'd like to think you're not just – now, Indianapolis initiated the calls for Sauce, so that makes it a little different in that, they weren't necessarily planning on trading Sauce Gardner before the deadline, but they got an offer they couldn't refuse, right? So on the defensive back side of things, I do think they like their cornerbacks, though. I think they like their cornerbacks in general. And now, the long and short of it is, to me, this is, if you are trying to start a culture, trying to develop the culture that Aaron Glenn has said that he is attempting to do so. He came under Sean Payton and Dan Campbell. Sean Payton gets to New Orleans. Year 1 is a disaster. It is a bad team. Dan Campbell goes to Detroit. Year 1, it is a bad team. And I'm of the belief that, Sauce Gardner and Quinnen Williams have done a lot of losing. And I'm not saying that they're bad players. I'm not saying they're bad players. I'm not saying they're bad players at all. I'm saying they've done a lot of losing. as like the quote unquote leaders of their teams, right?
Are they though? Are they like what? Or did they let go of locker room guys, or do you think they let go of talent that weren't locker room guys, Martin?
Go ahead,
I think that they were viewed as leaders on this team, right? I think that they were viewed as captains. I know they were viewed as captains on this team because I'm pretty sure Sauce had the seat, right? And I think at no point in time,
no, Sauce was not. No, he was not a captain, and that's kind of he just got that big contract that was not made a captain after it. Garrett Wilson was. I remember that kind of raised a few eyebrows. You kind of look over it, but now that he's been traded, it makes you kind of question a little more. Okay, what's going on there?
But that was my thing. We were talking. Remember, I brought it up. I said Aaron Glenn has coordinated defenses successfully in the NFL before. I've seen it happen. I watched it to two of the teams that I like the best, right? And I've watched this happen. So to me, jettisoning these guys, and it's really to me more the return I'm getting back, because I think that Aaron Glenn and Darren Moogie, the GM, they're scouts. They're scouts, and they trust in their evaluation process and be able to get guys in the room and on rookie deals and all that. Like Mason Taylor's played well as a rookie, despite all the Jets' offensive issues. Like they believe in their ability to replenish this locker room with guys they already have picked and won. I don't know if how well you can rebrand the locker room with the Sauce and Quinn and Williams and Garrett Wilson to that point. Like with guys who are already established NFL stars, it may be hard to change the culture in the room.
It's interesting to put a button on it that there's just no real adults in the room in the Jets locker room. I mean, Aaron Glenn's a youngin' when it comes to a head coach spot. And it's interesting that you made that point, Martin, that it did take a little bit of time to build programs with great coaches in this league. But the Jets have such a stigma. It's almost interesting on this reset. Ian, I want to throw it to you. Like, do you think even going, because it's like you paid Sauce, you paid Garrett, you hit because offensive rookie of the year, offensive defensive rookie of the year. But at the same time, you're paying top dollar to guys that Martin just mentioned have never won. How do you establish culture with dudes you're paying top dollar that have never won? Even Quinn and Williams came from Bama, won a ton, never won on this team. It's like, makes me think, do they just go veteran quarterback, truly, that's a journeyman, almost like the Field story, but older, and try to hit with like a Darnold-esque guy and build off of older dudes to establish leadership? Because it didn't work when you went young, paying top dollar.
Well, look, they've got so much flexibility, and before we move over to the Dallas side of things here, but they've got so much flexibility to do whatever they want at the quarterback position, whether that is go for someone existing. I don't know if anyone shakes free. I don't know who that veteran would be. But if they want to draft a young guy, they can do that too. They've got 5 first-round picks over the next 2 years, especially in 2027 when that draft class is looking like it could be pretty historic, and you have 3 first-round picks that year. I like the process, at least, that they're going through, that this isn't the same regime. Obviously, the Jets are, obviously as a franchise, it's going to be associated forever with the 15-year playoff drought that they're in the middle of. But this regime hasn't been here for 15 years. This regime didn't just miss on Zach Wilson, didn't just hit on Sauce Gardner and all these other picks. If you get the quarterback right, that's what's most important here. And if they get that right, then everything else can fall into place. We've seen that with other teams like, the Commanders last year and the Texans before them. If you hit on the quarterback, everything else falls into place. And unfortunately, the last
Manning, here
we
come, gentlemen.
Yeah, right, exactly. But anyway, to move over to the Dallas side of things here, I just want to toss it back to you guys because they traded a first-round pick and a second-round pick for Quinn and Williams, one of the best run stoppers in the NFL, which obviously Jerry Jones alluded to. He wants to get better at stopping the run. That was the first thing he said to the media after they traded Micah Parsons. But what do you guys think? Do you like trading for Quinn and Williams? How much does he help the defense right now? He's only 28 years old. What do you guys think?
I mean, right now, just real quick, Martin, they're 7-1 just to make the playoffs, let alone you're paying your mortgage for the month if they win the East. Like, this is a team that I feel, metaphorically speaking, has an owner that's tilted at the poker table, already lost earlier in the evening, a la Micah Parsons, and here we are making emotional decisions, and what happens when you emotionally box, you emotionally gamble. you lose. Not saying they didn't get a player, but my goodness, fascinating when you take a step back and go, really, you could have just bent the knee with the player, Micah, and here we are, and now you're on the outside of looking in for this year's playoffs when Jerry says every other chance he can, he's running out of time, and then they go and they do this. It's, to me, an overcompensation.
People can't get over the fact that, and I understand, because I was there too. I was there 2 years ago. I was there last year when I was pulling my hair out saying, why won't Jerry sign Micah Parsons? Why won't he do it? The fact of the matter is he didn't. He didn't do it, and by the time it got to the point where it got to the deadline, he no longer wanted to. And I think that's the thing that people are missing about the whole Micah Parsons trade, because every time that Dallas does anything at all, it all goes back to, well, you could have done this and had Micah Parsons. No, you couldn't. You could not have, because you know what Micah Parsons came with? A $47 million a year price tag. Like, what the Cowboys have done is flipped Micah Parsons into two guys, and I get that Logan Wilson is not a great player at any stretch. But you know who he's better than? Kenneth Murray, who has been the worst linebacker in the NFL for years. Several years he has been the worst linebacker in the NFL and is currently getting snaps right now in Dallas. So, Quinn Williams steps in and makes that a better defense today. Logan Wilson makes him a better defense. Not as much today, but still, he makes him a better defense because he gets guys off the field.
So you don't hate it. You don't hate this. You don't hate this. This is actually salvaging. We agree. We agree he messed up with Micah. Everyone does, but you actually like this because it like saves face as opposed to, oh, I got to just go out and get anything.
This is, to me, a solid process. Like, you've already pushed all your chips in and lost that hand. That's over. All you have left is the chips in your pocket, right, to be able to go ahead and try to make your money back. And the chips in his pocket are Dak Prescott, who before last week is playing at like a sneaky, if the record was right, MVP-type level, right? And in Dak's career, he has shown if he is upright and he is healthy, I'm a double-digit win quarterback, right? This was just a 12-5 team just last season. Now, I too agree. Micah Parsons is a really, really good football player. But I think the Cowboys said, I drafted a Micah Parsons once, and sneakily, I think that the Marvion Overshown, who should be coming back week 11, he is a problem. He is really, really good, and he blew his knee out last year, and if he's able to recoup, go back on the path that he's on, I'm not saying they're going to make the playoffs this year. I'm not saying they're going to win the East. I think they have an outside shot at the playoffs. I would take that 7-1 just because how good the offense is. But this is a move for the next 3 years, which matters more because that's the time that you have Dak.
Let's just put this into perspective, though. Dak, who again is exactly what Draymond said. Draymond put it to a T, like the 4-time champion he is. This dude is nowhere to be seen in playoff football. So let's call it the other way real quick so we can run the PTI light here. You got Philly, Kansas City, at Detroit, hosting your boy McCarthy, then the Chargers. What if they go 1-4? They could easily go 1-4. Those are all teams better than them right now. What do you do then, my man? Because this is an impatient owner that, again, can't go out and get a real leader of men. I mean, honestly, mind-numbing he didn't get Jim Harbaugh. Mind-numbing. Ego aside for Jerry, what's it going to be if this goes off the rails in the next month? Just because they won the headline off of an embarrassing loss on national television. To a backup.
I'll tell you what it would be. It would be a new defensive coordinator. That's the thing that nobody's talking about. I'm sincere. That's the thing that nobody...
You can't get out of this with an Eberflus firing. That's an easy decision.
That's the thing that nobody's talking about. The Cowboys have one of the best offenses in the NFL. Brian Schottenheimer has been calling offenses in the NFL for 30 years. You know what I'm saying? He's been doing this forever. Like, Brian Schottenheimer is not the issue here. Now, when the owner hires the defensive coordinator, and the defensive coordinator takes two guys in Deron Bland and Trevon Diggs. I know Diggs has been hurt a lot this year, but Bland and Diggs, who were like, Bland got defensive player of the year votes playing man corner. Diggs was an all-pro playing man corner, and now they're playing zone. Like, I don't know. Silly me. I would think I would have had the guys playing who were really good at playing man defense, play man defense. Jerry said it a few times during this different midweek talks. Eberflus is one and done, and a new defensive coordinator I think will really help them out.
All right, before we move on, I just want to throw it back with one more question just about that, because do you think that they gave up too much, Martin, for a player like Quinnen Williams when we just saw him on a defense that's also very bad in the Jets, and obviously he wasn't enough to make them any better than 1-7. So how much do you expect Quinnen Williams to help the Cowboys defense in a vacuum?
It really depends, and I'm not trying to be difficult. I think Quinnen Williams demands double teams, right? Like, consistently. He ain't
at one of the highest rates in the league.
Yeah, so like, it depends to me on Overshown. Because, like, I think that if he comes back and plays the way he played last year, he's going to be a game record on the second half of this year, right? As a result of the double teams that Quinnen Williams is eating up. But if you're just looking at Kenneth Murray's back there running behind Quinnen Williams double teams, then, yeah, no, good luck.
This man hates Murray.
Yeah, you saw him play for the Chargers?
Murray's biggest hater.
I know, man. Made a lot of bread for not a lot of tackles.
Yeah. Former first-round pick Kenneth Murray, by the way.
Surreal.
If I remember correctly.
Was he out of Oklahoma or something?
Yeah, he was out of OU. Exactly. Sooners. Yeah. But anyway, to move on here, Jayden Daniels. He's injured once again. I know Dan Quinn was taking a lot of flack for keeping him in the quarter when they were down by, 3 or more scores in the fourth quarter. I don't know. What do you guys think? It feels like it's getting kind of safe to call him legitimately injury prone at this point, because he's already dealing with his third or fourth injury this season, and he had one last year too, and that was a concern for him coming out. So, you guys concerned about him going forward? How do you sort of navigate this if you're the Commanders going forward? Because we know he's got all the talent in the world.
Well, I first want to give credit to our guy Martin here, middle of the summer, Fox Sports Radio, literally going out on a limb, unpopular opinion, tough thing to do, and say that the Commanders were going to regress this year and might even throw a little cheese on them missing the playoffs. Obviously, don't want to be correct in a roundabout way because of the injury, but injury aside, this team was well under 500. So, well done, my man. I got to go to you first off of that recommendation.
What I do with Jayden Daniels is, we're going to the buffet, buddy. Let's get some food. It's time to bulk up and put some weight on. But sincerely, one thing we got to stop is this whole, oh, my God, Jayden Daniels got hurt. Dan Quinn, you're a bad person. How could you ever leave your quarterback in? No, this is football, bro. This is football. And it was a quarterback that had come back from injury, who hadn't gotten a lot of reps in practice in the weeks leading up to it with the starters. No, this is football. Guys are going to play. If Lamar Jackson had twisted his ankle when the Ravens were up 21-6 in the fourth quarter against the Dolphins, nobody would have said, oh, why is Lamar still in the game? He's in the game because they're trying to win it. All right? I'm sorry. He's in the game.
I'm glad he's all right, though. And all serious, really glad he's all right. That was serious for a sec.
But this is just what it's the deal we all make watching the game and the deal they all make playing the game. There is going to be a time where somebody gets hurt. There's going to be a time where it's uncomfortable. Now, to your question, Ian, what would I do if I'm the Washington Commanders? I would be investing not only in my offensive line, but I'm changing my play calling up. Jayden Daniels got hurt running the ball. Jayden Daniels is an incredible thrower of the football. I'm not running Jayden Daniels like he's Josh Allen. I'm not running Jayden Daniels like he's Cam Newton. And Cliff Kingsbury was running that boy like he had Kyler Murray back there in the Arizona days.
No, I hear you. I mean, got to go, obviously, a double down on that running thought, but it's curtains for this team. This is a really interesting now Philadelphia conversation where they may just breeze into the playoffs with a home game and get to control their own destiny. How much do they want to try to get home court again, home field? This is Howie Roseman being a magician, I mean, how do you go out and steal Phillips, steal Alexander? I mean, outrageous. This guy does it again. Just look out for Philly with a combo of great moves at, again, a defense that took a huge step back, way bigger than any of us thought. And here they are rectifying that. Again, could be a team just by default. Oh, my gosh, you got to go to Philly if you're Detroit, if you're Tampa, if you're any of these contenders in the NFC, and you're just not going to beat them.
I think that's true. I think it's true that Philly is still going to be a contender in the NFC. I did not like their deadline moves.
You don't like Phillips? He hasn't been healthy in forever, but, like, I mean, him on a committee like that? I don't know.
No, I'd say this.
I think
now, the idea that
moves.
Process-wise, I like the fact that you trade a third for Phillips. You're probably not going to re-sign him. You'll get a conditional third back. It's a free rental, right? But I don't see either Phillips nor Jair Alexander making an impact on this Eagles team.
This is so Ravens-esque, what they're doing these days. Remember when they would just peel off these dudes that like, wow, this corner was nothing. Next thing you know, he's getting another deal on the Ravens or a second life. That's what Philly's become. Just wait and see when Alexander has a game-winning pick or Phillips has a game-changing TJ Watt-esque sack fumble. I mean, I don't know. I think this is an interesting landscape where we're overinflating the Lions. We're over just compensating the fact that Baker has just pulled off magician moves and more wins than not this year. And a Packers team that plays down their competition like I've never seen, losing the Browns and the Panthers. Embarrassing. I mean, tuck yourself in. Embarrassing. Like, this is just a fascinating NFC that really was 3-4 deep a couple of weeks ago that, like, dang. NFC West, is it Seattle? Not if they got to go to Philly. I'd be betting on the Eagles. Anyways, not to get too off topic.
No, hold on, because that is a topic. Because I think the Rashid Shaheed trade made the Seahawks the number one team in the NFC.
Wow. They're not even the favorites to win their own division, my man. It's the Rams.
I think that's madness. I think that's bad. Like, I watch Seattle, and I don't know, like, maybe I'm just prisoner of the first 9 games of the year, and I know Stafford is playing at a level I don't believe to be sustainable. And what Seattle does defensively is special. And I'll remind you, Rashid Shaheed under Clint Kubiak was an animal. And they just need to open it up a little bit. That's it. Just a little bit. They just need a little bit more around JSN, and they're good to go.
The greatest kept secret is that Mike McDonald is better on the road than he is at home. 4-7 to date. 4-7 at home, the place that used to be called the 12th man. I don't know. They're doing what they need to do week to week, peeling off games when they should. I still remember a Tampa team that went to their place and beat them in a shootout. I think they're obviously a contender. I don't know if they're the cream of the crop in the NFC, my man.
I bet you Seattle doesn't give up 35 points again for the rest of the year.
Ooh. They were banged up that week. That's fair.
All right, Martin, earlier you mentioned Cliff Kingsbury back in the Kyler Murray, Arizona Cardinals days. That's a good segue into our next topic here because Kyler Murray, he's going to undergo some surgery, or I believe he's undergoing surgery, but the Cardinals either way are placing Kyler Murray on IR. So he's going to miss at least the next 4 games of the season. We'll see if he plays at all for the rest of the season because my question to you guys is this the end of the Kyler Murray era in Arizona? Because we just saw Jacoby Brissett lead the Cardinals to a win on Monday Night Football earlier this week. And we saw Marvin Harrison Jr. had a breakout game. Trey McBride scored. What do you guys think? Is this the end of the Kyler Murray era or not?
I mean, this is a guy that's 38, 48, and 1. I just typed in. What is he a product of the Arizona Cardinals or vice versa? Because last time I checked, Arizona went to a Super Bowl in our adult life. and almost peeled one off with Kurt Warner. And they have put together a couple of interesting clubs competitively over the last 10, 15 years, as opposed to the super low, self-esteem franchise that can't get anything right. I don't know, man. This is a fascinating fellow that got paid a lot of money, not making us in the non-6-foot club look very good as a fellow short dude. I mean, makes it all about him. Baseball energy, baseball player, and kind of acts like a wide receiver and not a leader of men. And I don't want to keep calling out his height, but I mean, this is a dude that is not a winner and thinks he's a winner, and no one wants to tell him. And he's rich, laughing at us going, I don't care what you think. So it's just kind of a really gross scenario where they're one of the most fickle, difficult team in my world, the betting world, to figure out. I mean, the whole world was laying 2.5 Monday on Dallas, and they come out and they dominate, and Calais looks 28, not 38. I mean, long story short there, I think you got to move off this guy if you're serious about football. I don't think he is.
The thing about Jacoby Brissett, he's seen that Eberflus defense a lot. They were both in Indianapolis together. I thought I liked the Cowboys in that game, and then I did a little remembering. I was like,
Great look.
I'm just going to watch this on TV. This is not a short joke, but much like Boyz II Men said, it's the end of the road for Kyler Murray. It's the end of the road. Kyler Murray, welcome.
You're a tall dude. Please enjoy this moment. Please enjoy this playground moment picking on the little guy.
No, I said, welcome to the sweepstakes for next Jets / Steelers / Raiders /
perfect combo right there, Martin.
Right,
Ian, the Jets and Kyler Murray. Oh my E-channel goodness.
Because here's the deal: Jacoby Brissett is not better than Kyler Murray. Kyler Murray is more talented than Jacoby Brissett.
Pretty fair.
I think everybody in Arizona would agree with you. However, if I'm watching Marvin Harrison Jr. with Kyler Murray, or then with Jacoby Brissett, then I watch Trey McBride with Kyler Murray, then I watch him with Jacoby Brissett. The thing about Kyler Murray is the thing about that is true for all hyper unique athletes. When they are the centerpiece of what you're doing, the focal point of what you're doing, you have to adjust everything you do to fit around them. Now, sometimes that works out, like Steph Curry, right? You know what I'm saying? Like, you'd rather do that with Steph because he's so elite at shooting threes that you prefer to have him than anything else. Or like Lamar Jackson. Whatever shortcomings Lamar Jackson had early in his career, the Baltimore Ravens, we will figure that out. We will work around your shortcomings. And now, shoot, he doesn't really have any until it gets to be a big game. But
well, don't you think, just to interject, that Gannon, I mean, he's a dude that's going to get the defense right. He just needs an adult on the offense. And look what happens on Monday night when he has an adult in the room.
And that's exactly the point. Jonathan Gannon was competitive with Josh Dobbs at quarterback. Like, he's looking at this like, I would like to find my next Daniel Jones reclamation project.
Sure, yeah.
Somebody who's going to do what I asked them to do and just paint by the numbers and throw to the one when the one is open and get through the reads and do all of that. And they think they can compete for a playoff spot with that. And I don't disagree.
Very interesting. It's interesting. Where he lands is going to be fascinating. This is a big moment, though, and a good moment for, like, the NFL to go, oh, we can win games with infrastructure and not talent. This dude is dripped in talent. To be 5'8" in the league at quarterback is silly. There's no question to your coin toss a Brissett or a Kyler. Who I don't know if Kyler wins that game on Monday night. I don't think he wins that game.
Yeah, I mean, just to put a bow on it, Kyler, always the superpower that he had was his rushing ability and his out-of-structure play. And he hasn't been running nearly as much as he used to earlier on in his career. He's been injured a few times. Maybe it has something to do with that. But, yeah, when you pair that with the fact that he's undersized, like you said, Alex, it's a tough sell to keep him around as your franchise quarterback, especially on a top-of-the-market contract like he's on. But anyway, last topic here for you guys. 6 of the 8 divisions in the NFL are still up for grabs at this moment, that aren't kind of sealed away by this point midway through the year. Alex, I know you have some specific thoughts on these, but which is the most up in the air in your mind right now? And then which team, like, what are some of the best bets going on? You're the betting guy for us on this show, so
Yeah,
I
it's
want to hear
interesting.
a little bit about that.
Yeah, as we're essentially at intermission or a little bit over at week 10, it's Philly at, you got to put 20 times your money down for them just to get 2 racks down to win 100. And then you have at 5-1, not quite running away with it, the Bucks, and then the Panthers being second at 5-1 X'd, and 22-1 Falcons. Obviously, Saints are out of it. So other than that, you have the Colts, which are laying juice, but everything else is completely up for grabs, essentially. I mean, we're talking about a 5-4, not in first Chiefs team, a Buffalo team that just leaped the Patriots in the odds column, not in the win column, because they both won. And then you have a Ravens team under 500. That's minus 140 in the chalk to Pittsburgh in a 2-horse race in the North. Last but not least, a NFC North that Packers are plus 110, Lions are plus 125, and the Bears are 8.5-1. And everybody I just mentioned, not named Chicago, lost this week. So ton of value. You can parlay these, but we're in an instance where, like, Buffalo's not wrapped up. KC's not in first. They're technically in third. And we're also looking at an under 500 Baltimore team over halfway through the season. It's almost an anomaly.
I mean, it's definitely something that shows that I was telling Ian this before the season started. I said these teams have been too good for too long. I just did not have a good reason why that it would. I couldn't tell you why they were going to be bad outside of the fact that this is the NFL and we've had between the Bills, the Chiefs, and the Ravens. All three of them have had 7 years of about as much success as you can have. They kept knocking each other out of the playoffs. Right? They got as far as they could until they met one of the other teams. I like the second place team almost, and I think every one of those divisions, except for I like the Colts to keep their spot. But like in the NFC West, I just told you I like Seattle. When you especially consider the Rams and Puka Nakua's health, yeah, I really like the Colts to keep the South. The North, the Packers. I do not trust the Packers. I don't want to bet on the Packers with your money. Like that is a team that Vegas keeps giving double-digit favorite lines, and I do not see a team left deserving of double-digit favorite respect. I don't understand it.
Yeah, the 13.5 over the Panthers was actually absurd, looking back on it.
Like, I don't understand it. This is a defense that is, I would say, is above average. It's an above-average defense that last year we had a ton of takeaways. It was great. But this year, offensively, they don't score unless it's a deep 35, 40-yard explosive, they don't score. And then with the Ravens, I cannot shake the fact that Ravens defense, I get it. Last 2 weeks it's looked pretty good. You're going to have to show me more on tape than the last 2 weeks.
Do you feel like if you were to buy low on Baltimore, Kansas City, or the Lions, to your point of no one in first, who would you put your money on?
Lions for sure. I think Lions is not even buying low. I think Lions is like buying as the stock is on the way up. Like the stock just dipped as they had that loss last week. I expect that thing to skyrocket back up like Trump said he rescinded the tariffs. But I would say though, Kansas City does intrigue me. Because I don't trust Bo Nix, and I don't trust Sean Payton. I've been trying to lie to myself and say I do. I picked them to go to the Super Bowl. I picked them to compete. That offense is too sometimey for me, man.
Well, you got an Andy Reid. Yeah, you got an Andy Reid off a bye slam spot, 2 weeks to prep for it, and it will be a short line because it's Kansas City at Denver. And Denver will have 10 work days to prep as well, playing tonight as we speak on Thursday. That could be for who controls the division. And that's wild considering the Chargers are sandwiched between both those clubs at 6-3.
I saw what happened when Joe All got hurt last time.
No, that's true. Obviously, and banged up, plural, on the tackle side. On Ian, if we were to put like a squad ride Martin and Monaco show parlay together at the turn here, who would you throw your name in the hat? Because there's so much plus money value. Any thoughts on a Pats Bills dance, Steelers Ravens dance, or
Pats Bills
even
is
long
the most
shot value in the AFC South?
No, I think Pats Bills is the most interesting one to me because that's the one I feel the least comfortable betting on, because I feel like both teams are worthy of winning the division as we speak right now. Who knows how they look down the stretch, but as of right now, I would say both of them are very much in the running for division lead. I don't know. Surprisingly, I think I'd go the Ravens too, because it's just not a good division, man. And now that Lamar Jackson's back, they've had time to sort of figure things out. Maybe carved out some of the rot, getting rid of Jair Alexander. I know things weren't really working out there. So yeah, I think my pick's the Ravens.
If the Pittsburgh Steelers don't win this division, it's time. Blow it up.
Because I
for
think
Tomlin.
If I'm doing it right now, if it would be Ravens, and I like it, Lions, Ravens, and Chiefs. Ravens are minus, but it's plus 780. It's almost as much as the Cowboys to make the playoffs alone. But not to just throw shade at the Cowboys. But yeah, so I just wanted to point it out, talk it out a little, because it is interesting. I mean, any long shots before we put a button on it, move on, because honestly, 20-1 the Houston Texans are, who I have as a sleeper this week, even though it's Davis Mills at home against a bad luck Jaguars team who's plus 270 to the Colts. Colts awful loss. I mean, just saying, they got the Chiefs coming up. They don't have anything wrapped up by any means. I mean, they got, and I was on it, on the pod, all over it, +3 with the Steelers. Just Mike Tomlin smash spot. But neither here nor there. Any thoughts on the Texans or anybody coming out of just nowhere? Even the Bears all put in that, because at almost 8.5 to 1, I think they should be taken seriously. Going to get another win this week at home against the Giants.
I do think that the teams to look for, if you are going to look, is in the AFC South and the NFC South. Like, if you really are a believer in the Rico Dowdle-led Carolina Panthers, then that's the time. Now's the time. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you and to your point, I don't hate.
Are you a believer? All right.
No.
It's your division. I had to ask.
Yeah, Bryce Young, the turnover in the end zone. If we were in the 1940s and quarterbacks just turned around and handed the ball off, then I'd be all in. I'd be all in on the Panthers. They got a great run game.